Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah. Escape to the Metaverse. Better act like you know, yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show, yeah.
What up, dude?
This is like a good solid few days of breaking things, considering we broke everything at the WIP last week by the end of it. And for people listening, this is our second take on this podcast. We recorded an episode yesterday and everything broke, and so we're doing it again. And so it'll be like, slightly different. Some new stuff has happened, but I don't know, it's a good app that's lost in the abyss, but we're gonna hold it down.
Yeah. So where do you want to kick things off at? Do you want to look back at the WIP last week and the other set of audio issues we ran into towards the end of that show, or how do you want to kick things off?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you can't say enough about Bay and the WIP last week and everything. I feel like we beat the same drum every single time she comes through. And I actually just filled out the survey from Decentraland talking about the experience, and I'm like, what am I really supposed to say? Like, Bay only shows up with like the best shit for us, and then is like, here's a survey about like, about how dope it was, which is not the survey, but that's what I find myself filling out whenever she comes through. My only hiccup was I got stuck in a loop with the login number thing, which is not the first time that that's happened, and it's sort of a, I don't know, pain in the ass, but also Brave is janky sometimes. Dude, and the thing that they introduced, at least to us, which I think for our audience and people who don't frequent Decentraland often, being able to hit a direct link that like pulls up the client, if that had been a thing, it was like difficult to find and pull for people. But we had all those queued up ahead of time, which made it much easier to just like direct people from Discord into what parcel things are happening and everything. So, minor tweaks like that go a long way.
Yeah. And even like loading the client up from Jump, we were brought into that, like the square that they were hosting the Metaverse Fashion Week in. So like there was no need to jump through that waterfall to then go to the extra other place. No, that was super smooth. The wearable claims were buttery smooth as well. I thought that was pretty cool. Like walking around, like seeing what's claimable, what's not. Sometimes you had to do like an emote or something to get them. I guess as like if you were going to like take a selfie of yourself or something like that, just a fun little funsy or something like that. That was smooth. And the one thing that I do that normally sort of prevents that loop of doom that you jumped in is firing up a new Chrome window or Brave window, whatever. Like when I open up the client, I'd normally have issues if like with a stale state with MetaMask, if it's open before launching something else. It's just, one of the little hacks that I've discovered, but it's just so annoying that you have to deal with that. Hopefully I don't know. I feel like with a client, like it's on a specific system, so they should probably go for some like passkey type login situation where it's just like you're on the same machine you've been using. Boom, you're logged in. Like your identity, your crypto wallet, whatever, that's all linked. It's just super simple that way.
We were talking yesterday in the podcast that does not exist anymore about like, Decentraland's angle on all these events. Basically, they're like, pouring a lot of gasoline on Bay specifically, which I love, and the events in general, and are, really trying to blow these things out and bring artists on board and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's a different angle than a lot of the other Metaverse platforms are taking, or at least they're not leaning as heavily into it. And I realized as you were just talking, man, I was like, one thing Decentraland's doing really well right now is exactly that, man. When you log in, they're curating the home base essentially, like we've done for the WIP, right? So like when people log in and something big is going on, they're just in the spot, and and you're sort of like guaranteed to be like thrown in the mix kind of thing. And having that sort of like, even if it's a revolving like centralized location, like that when we introduce like the home base for the WIP, I feel like just having that like measure of predictability where like even though you don't know what the fuck is going on or where the fuck will end up, you do know to show up at the same place at the same time, and we'll figure it out from there. And Decentraland has sort of got that similar type of thing going on now, which is good community shit, man. It's really difficult historically to find people and what's going on and congregate all in the same place. And I like that they're leaning into ways to streamline that experience. We were some of the first out of the gate to try and start doing that, and it's good to see, man. It's good for the community.
Yeah, and like we were talking about the maybe with all this programming that like Bay is curating and taking lead on with her team at DCL, like that is going to the end of the year. Like it's a really crazy ambitious programming lineup with their events and everything that they're planning in DCL. It's cool to know that there's going to be these recurring moments to actually pop in, and it's not like it used to be where it felt like maybe once a year we'd hop into DCL for something that was going on. Now it's almost like every month it feels like, which is it's great because they do so much heavy lifting. And to your point, like when the client works, you jump right in to the event itself. And every event so far, again, if you're lonely sharded, it sort of sucks, but you can still see like the other people that are in like a different shard. And there's a sizable number of folks concurrently that are like in world with us during these events. So it really does feel like you're bumping shoulders with other avatars. It has that liveliness to it. And if they can keep growing this, like for the rest of the year, and like we were talking about on the Lost episode, that like everyone in here has a crypto wallet associated with them. Their crypto wallet for sure has some crypto holdings, whether that's like valuable NFTs or just like liquid tokens, right? And like, what's the total wallet value of everyone that has been in DCL during these events, during the course of the events, which are like multi-day affairs? Like those are real metrics that like for a potential advertiser, it's understandable. It's like, oh shit, you have how many people in world and they all have how much dry powder collectively in their wallets? Oh my goodness. Like I need to put my product in front of their eyes so that they can use money in their wallet to like, I don't know, get more swag or whatever that they would be advertising. But you don't really have to squint very hard to see where they may be trying to go with this event-based programming schedule that they're leading. So that's also another like interesting thing to think through as they're like every next event that we go to. I don't know if it's prom is next in May or what the next big shindig is, but it's cool to think through it with that like that business lens. Hopefully.
Yeah, dude, and it's exciting. The excitement amongst the creators getting involved in this is like contagious as well, man. Anzane Silver, Match going back to make an NFT, a few weeks ago and everything. These are people who had these skill sets, and we're just sort of like looking for ways to get involved and everything. And again, man, it's nice to see a platform, sort of galvanizing the creator and artist community and everything. And dude, I feel like, yes, it's a stab in an advertising direction. That seems like that's the lowest hanging fruit in terms of like, you got numbers, you got people with money, here's, make the connection, right? But like, it feels like there's some puzzle pieces that can be strung together, right? They got all this land ownership and all this mana. They got a creator economy that's like, has been nascent for a long time, but it seems like it's starting to like, gain some traction. And it's like, this is a Web3 platform. And I'm like, is this their pivot to try and just get all the, Roblox advertisers up in here and then they can, right? It's like, and not saying that that's what they're going for and everything, but like, you'd love to see them take this, because a lot of the creators they're bringing in there, man, they know their shit. Like they're Web3 people. You need to know your shit to be able to build in there for the most part. And so, to stimulate that side of the equation versus, you know, what we've seen in the past is sort of like leveraging them to pull in big money, and then they get like, you know, sort of overlooked or left in the dust kind of thing. And again, man, this is just sort of patterns that have repeated itself, and not saying anything about DCL, but I'm like, man, you know, DCL's been around for a long time. They got a lot of moving parts going on, and it would be great to see this be a play in a direction that somehow strings these pieces together and gets like a nice little creator economy flourishing again, which we've like really been piecemealing together for a while.
Yeah. No, it's going in a really interesting direction. Like I did not have DCL on my 2025 map of projects to watch in crypto, but now I do. Like, and it's basically because of Bay, but not because of Bay, because to your point, like she's wrangling in like great creators and artists. Like they're putting like real time and effort and craft into like the digital experiences, and then like whether it's the design of the in-world activations or like actual wearables and things like that, like they're doing some real heavy lifting over there in a very interesting potential direction that's differentiated. It's not leaning into the game side where we see like whether it's Nifty Island that was leading the charge there early, or now like Hyperfi like pushing out. It looks really cool, like Fallen, their interactive game that Johan just pulled the veil back on to us on our morning call today. Like it's not gaming in DCL. It's very social. It's very art forward. It's very creator forward. So to have that sort of differentiated event on the regular coming in with that also differentiated crowd that appreciates that kind of stuff, it's very interesting just to watch that evolve.
Yeah, dude, love that shit, man, and love experiments like that. Dude, I'm like this like weird, it's not weird, man. It's this culture of vibe coding is allowing for like some really interesting experiments, man, but I'm like someone's going to get fucking rugged on this shit. Like it's too like I feel like everyone's like, oh, he's got vibe coded. Let me connect my wallet and check it out. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are crazy. And we've seen that shit like 1,000 times. And this one got pushed from like the main Hyperfi account, which I feel very comfortable with. And you know, the Ash and all them, you know, that's if you can't trust them, we're fucked, right? But yeah, dude, I feel like it's creating this like weird culture of like, hey, I got this like jank 3/4 of the way project, but like come test it out. It got vibe coded, and like, dude, one bad actor is gonna fuck this shit up for everybody.
I mean, that's why like the vibe coding AI, it's making and bringing the tools necessary to create things, just making that much more accessible and approachable. But yeah, like if you're incorporating crypto and like there's some point where people need to connect wallets, you probably want to have, if not an audit, just someone that knows what they're doing to look for, to make sure that it's set up in a way that's not just going to like just drain everyone's wallet. Like that's the last thing that we need is like another, not just like another hack or drain, but like a waterfall, a cascade of everyone who's vibe coded whatever, just draining everyone all over. That would be a very, that would be like an existential issue if that gets there. So it's really important to, if you're going to incorporate crypto, I think personally, you know, get a homie that knows what they're doing to look at that code just a little bit more before you push it out. Spend a little bit extra time on the test net before you push to mainnet. Whichever mainnet you're using, it's probably a good rule of thumb.
Right? I'm like, this is the most dangerous jargon to be pushing around Web3. Like, oh, it's just vibe coded, just check it out. Like, what? Like, I haven't clicked a link in a decade. Like,
yeah, I like. I mean, I love the vibe. Like, it's
right?
great.
No, dude, I do too. Vetted vibe coding is different, right? I mean, that's what you're saying too, man. Like, you know, some of this shit is allowing for great experiments, but like, dude, if your shit's not from a trusted source, or hasn't been looked over by someone else, like, don't be the guinea pig out here. This is not the time.
Yeah. And like similar, like we're in the final testing with Cameron for the new project we're going to push out, Tippin, or like the long name Tippin. And like I'm the guinea pig every time Cam is coding something up. So it's like, yo, connect the wallet, like send some funds here, make sure it works.
But
It's like, oh shit, we didn't surface that. Let me shoot you a link so you can get that monies back.
right, yeah, but this
like
is different,
again,
man.
like
It's like how
trusted hands.
exactly right. That's what I was going to say. This is how like me and Trizlet get down. We were like fucking around with Henry the Frog and the hops token and everything, and some of it is just experiments. But yeah, you gotta trust the people you're working with. And I know anything that comes out of Cam's camp and he ships has been vetted by someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. And again, man, like he's in that camp, Trizlet's in that camp. If we can't trust these people to fucking get it right once it goes public, like we're all fucking doomed. So no, I mean, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth a little bit, dude, because we were talking on this yesterday, and it's worth getting into my obsession with frames on Warpcast, which are like being chronically vibe coded and churned out and everything. But it's become a really fascinating experiment for me, man. And you and Cam are launching Tippin on it, and dude, it's worth unpacking again, man, because we had talked about like just how important it is for fucking people to understand how to use your shit, man. And like Warpcast is like really on the fringe in general in terms of like an outside person being able to come in and interact with it in anything beyond like a fucking really, really basic level. And I love the frame shit. A lot of them again fall into the bucket of like, if you don't know anything about Web3, you're like, what the fuck is going on here? But you and Cam are doing some shit, man, and it's my favorite kind of shit because it's like simple shit that's like not simple at all once you like lift the hood up. So dude, unpack it, man. It's cool.
Yeah. So with Tippin, the whole focus is just to keep it stupid simple, right? Cam and I, we've been pushing out a few experiments here and there. The most recent one, like Rebase, is a staking, LP staking reward protocol, where it's like, we saw the need for all these tokens, or what's becoming not just simply tokens, but app coins that are associated with a lot of these like frames or mini apps or whatever we want to call them, that are like just almost growing exponentially at this point. It seems like they're growing like weeds. We haven't hit that hockey stick growth, but we're almost every day is like a new frame popping up that we need to like add to like kick the tires on. So seeing all these new projects with coins and then looking into like the market health of the coins, like how much liquidity is underlying this, like how much ETH is in the curves of these coins. And not surprising, if anyone's ever tried to like buy or sell any of these tokens, is most of them are not liquid. So then you have holders of these coins that think they have more money than they do. They go to try to sell. There's not a lot of ETH locked in the curve. They end up, like quote unquote, losing a lot of money. Or you're a whale coming in and you're just like, you're causing the price to skyrocket. And it's just like a whole weird, like everyone starts focusing solely on the coin and the price. And it's just like a roller coaster. Everyone's familiar with that. It's just like a really terrible state of things. So we had tried to create something to incentivize folks, especially token holders themselves, to help add liquidity to these coins. But the big takeaway we found is that anytime we say even like the word liquidity or LPing or liquidity providing, people's brains would just fucking shut down. Like that was the end of the conversation. That was the last part of the cast that they read. Like people weren't reading any further. And it's just like a limited audience of folks that could think through and understand like the technical side of liquidity products. So we were like, all right, let's just stop saying that. Let's take this complicated or seemingly complicated idea and get like the stupid simplest wrapper around it. And that's where tipping comes in. So we saw that a lot of folks would add liquidity as if they were tipping, like no expectation really of profit, but the fact that like you add liquidity, and because of the Uniswap protocol that we leverage, there's trading fees that are generated. So people are earning off of what they add. So I was just like, let's just call this what it is. It's like tipping and earning. That's what we're going to provide people. So we're going to give people a frame, a stupid, simple interface, and we're going to curate a project for them to be able to tip, right? And the project that we picked is QR by Jake. It's that daily auction for folks to try to win so that they can take one of their links and have the QR associated with the QR coin redirect to their whatever link they choose to set. So it's like an intention play. They win an auction for like several $100s. A lot of people see it. Then they go to where the new link directs. But with tipping, you tip QR because it's a cool project. Jake is a cool person. But because it's crypto, you got to have some like crypto incentive. So of course, if you're going to tip, you're going to earn back funds from there in the form of QR, the native token, as well as ETH. And as long as someone has like USDC, like a lot of people, thousands of people are getting tipped USDC from the Warpcast team based on their casting last week. So they'll have USDC in their wallet or ETH. You can shoot that into tipping, and then behind the scenes, like for user purposes, that's all they need to know. It's like, oh shit, I just tipped, boom, done. But behind the scenes, automatically and unbeknownst to the tipper, all the, whether it's ETH or USDC, it's split and added into the liquidity pool of QR. So you're actually being a liquidity provider. You're adding liquidity. We're calling it tipping. And then when people check back in, they'll see that, oh shit, they have more ETH and QR that they can claim whenever. And then the tie-in for folks that have been using Rebase and the protocol that we're building out is that any fees generated when folks claim these trading fees in Tippin, a portion of that is used to buy back refi, so the native token of the Rebase protocol. So again, people that have supported Rebase and have refi, they're going to benefit from that sort of like deflationary like refi buyback. But again, all that extra stuff is behind the scenes. Tippin, it's stupid simple. People tip QR, and then if we add any other cool app coins or projects to a list of tippable projects, and then after that, boom, they start earning and they can claim their fees whenever they want. That's it. Boom. Dumb simple. So we're hoping that maybe people use the frame, or ideally other projects, they add this tippin button into their own project so that they can get people to, add liquidity to their project in a very simple to understand way that doesn't melt minds or anything like that.
No, I love it, dude. I feel like we need that, man. And this is a Lego block, which again is on the Lost podcast, and stuff that we've gotten away from for like a really long time, in terms of just being able to find a place to easily build on top of other layers of what's going on, different protocols and everything, and being able to find people on Warpcast and find other sustainable experiments to build on top of that. That's like another thing too, right? Like all this shit happens so fast, and sometimes by the time someone's launched an experiment and it's died, no one's either heard of it, or you've missed your opportunity to roll it into your thing or do something interesting in it. So, I feel like, especially as of late, man, Warpcast has like really sort of cultivated that like spirit of rapid experimentation again, where if you're like, I guess I'm like a frame nerd or something. We need like some sort of term for this or whatever. But like, I don't know, I'm sort of like obsessed with like tinkering around with these things, because most of them are like, Web3 based experiments that have some sort of token involved, or way to get a token involved, and then you can see basically you're a great case example, man. Like, the Rebase was a frame and a cool concept. It still is. I'm also an LP nerd and like that shit. But now you've like sort of taken that experience, and here's like the next iteration on that, and all that shit didn't happen that long ago, right? But if you weren't really in an environment where you could observe all the stuff that was going on adjacent and how people are interacting with those things and everything, like, that's how like good ideas are fucking formed and put together on a community scale, and it's fucking cool, man. Like all these frames things, dude. We're fucking joking around. Dude, the other thing about Warpcast is like, I don't know what it offers to people who aren't interested in this shit. And so, we saw Waka Flocka, enter the scene, 2021 Ja Rule style into Web3 on Twitter, and everyone's like, losing their shit and everything. And I feel nothing towards Waka Flocka. He's possibly like a wonderful dude. Apparently, he's got a good basketball game, and maybe he's really interested in Web3. But I don't, I don't get the impression that that's why people are really interested in him being on Warpcast. And I really don't want Warpcast to go down this path of like, hey, because dude, that's basically where I feel like we've been at for years, right? We were on this trajectory of like, hey, we're building all this cool shit for us. Look at all the progress the community has made together. And then we got infiltrated by like lots of money and celebrities, and like everyone was just sort of like, hey, how can we build stuff for them and their community, and everything, sort of got fucked up. And so I'm like, dude, Warpcast is like such a nerd paradise right now, and I would really love Waka Flocka to come in and drop Waka Frame and pay out in Waka Coin and get his fucking hands dirty in like why people are actually at Warpcast in the first place, rather than this weird push right now to like pull in people who don't really know anything about Web3. And are we back at like trying to get Terry Crews to drop an NFT project? Like we've done this before.
Dude, yeah, that's my takeaway. Again, whenever I see like any sort of like BC list celebrity come in, I'm like, oh man, like we've been here. Like we don't need to lose our minds over this. Like if they want to kind of like jump in the fray with us, that's cool. Like more power to them. There are a bunch of people that collected last cycle where it's like it was cool that they collected, at least do something that sort of like gives back to creators, or like has some sort of positive impact. Don't just like grift, don't just be like an attention drain on the whole state of things. But I'm sure some subsection of folks are going to be hypnotized by the celebrity, by the fame, by the intrigue or whatever. But hopefully there's a strong enough base over no pun intended, on the Purple app that lets folks like just stay focused on what they want. It, there, the user base is like large enough where it's not like some homogenous monolithic community. Like there's multiple sub communities that are like vibing with one another day in to day out. Again, going back to like an oft-cited example, but crypto the game, like a whole bunch of folks in there, like I'd never seen them before, but they are active on the Purple app. They're just in their own different cozy corner, right? So I think that relative strength on this network, at least, it makes me a little bit more optimistic that we're not going to see a repeat of what we saw previously on like crypto Twitter, where it was like, the whole world is on that app. And then when celebrities like kind of commingle with like anyone from crypto Twitter, everyone in crypto Twitter like lost their minds and started like doing the celebrity suck off and with predictable results and grifts and everything like that. Hopefully this time is different, but yeah. We'll see. Only time will tell. But anyway, shout out the whole explosion in like the mini apps, that the ability to have this like broader social network with potential users that you can launch new experiments on real quick. I think it's really important. And again, if celebrities are going to come here, so be it. But hopefully any like dev or potential dev is coming over to this network to start building. One of the weird headlines I've been seeing over the past couple of weeks is like a dearth of devs or an exodus of crypto devs from the space. And they're showing like people that identify, I guess they're using LinkedIn. I'm not sure how they're gathering these metrics, which is always like the thing that I'm like, how accurate is this? But there's a lot of like worry that like crypto is over because devs are not here anymore. Like I've been seeing more devs than ever over on the Purple app, and I think it's really like where are people focusing? Is exactly my sort of like takeaway from that. But again, this is a huge other value add that the explosion of frames and this whole social network play built on crypto sort of offers, and helps resolve for the rest of the space.
Yeah, I don't doubt that the LinkedIn crowd is thinning out a little bit, or like, you know, if that's where they're pulling metrics from, or like I think a lot of them are getting into like corporate, you know, crypto side of things as well. There's like a big transition point in that and everything. Yeah, dude. Man, it's so nice to have like a little safe haven again, where it's you can count on the conversation being, even if it's not topical, it's being produced by people who are in the mix and, you know, understand the shit. And dude, I just keep thinking, I'm like, dude, I really like the little ecosystem that Warpcast has set up. And I'm like, dude, some dev out there, you know, it was working hard posting on Warpcast for that $3 USDC at the end of the week that's going to go to Waka Flocka now. And I'm like, dude, what is Waka Flocka going to even know what to do with that $3 USDC? I mean, maybe, man, I'm making a lot of fucking assumptions on, you know, celebrities coming in here. Maybe he knows a shitload, but I'm like, you know, you hate to see that, man. Are we just going to get overrun by people coming in and scooping up that little $2 that was going to that dev that needed it out in you know, a country where the exchange rate is favorable, and that's a good fucking flow, man. And you know, fortunately, Warpcast allows to optimize for shit like that. You know, you could probably build in some safeguards as far as like, you know, if stuff's going to get distributed, it's only going to get distributed to people who have like actually interacted with Warpcast in a Web3 way X amount of times or something like that. So I don't know, man. Maybe we are able to sort of keep it. I like the idea of it being an inclusive community, but I'm like, you know, let me find my people. Don't get it fucking all fucked up.
Yeah, just like don't fuck it up, guys. That's it. Like, just fingers.
Every now and again, we
That's
have
all
that
it is.
podcast.
Yeah, it is true. It is like a recurring episode of ours. Just makes it way back in. But anyway, excited. We're about to get into like travel season a little bit at the beginning of May, like a couple weeks now. Jesus, it's tax day. Jesus Christ. Like RIP to everyone doing taxes today. But just a couple weeks, the purple convention is going to happen in NYC. Then shortly after, we got like NFT NYC, we got Lisbon, a whole bunch of stuff coming up. So excited with that for that, and excited because of like the great weather. I don't know about y'all in the Northeast, but dude, Portland's getting blessed with like 6-7 days straight of 70-degree weather. It is glorious out here.
Finally getting it on the East Coast too, man. It's been like 6 months of like cold and darkness, and I feel like finally coming out the other side. Ever since Rizzle Fest, man, it's been dark. So that was in October. So shit, dude. No, and yeah, man. I'm about to book my shit for Lisbon, man. I'm planning to be in the mix for the conference and everything, and cooking up a little thing with Barbie, and talking with Bill Tree. I know they're going to be out there. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna actually been in conversation with Lost Local, you know, the homie from Avagachi back in the day and everything. So yeah, trying to conjure up some fun, you know, Rizzle side quests to do while I'm out there, fucking around and having fun, man. But dude, after going last year, I was like, if I make it to one again, it's gonna be NFC Summit this year, man. Shout out John Carp. It's just fucking really nice going overseas and seeing all the people who don't make it to the conferences on this side of the ocean. That you know, we've just known forever, man. It's fucking great.
No, 100%. Boom. Dude, anything we missed? We got it in like in a much more condensed time today compared to the last episode yesterday. I guess it's because we had like a dry run.
Yeah, we had a practice run. Less fucking me rambling. I don't know. Dude, we got a great WIP coming up this week, dude. I'm excited for fucking Joel Kruger, man. We all go way back. I was trying to think when I got on Scent originally, and it's, you know, probably 2016, 2017. I don't know when the platform originated, but like in the very beginning, it was like
August 2017 was the mainnet launch, so definitely not 2016.
Yeah, dude, time is weird, right? But I do remember in the very beginning, there was like, you know, 30, 40 people or something. And when I came into the scene, and Joel was one of them, and you were one of them, And Joel and I had, we fucking heckled each other a little bit. It's where I got my start trolling people and fucking giving people a hard time and everything. And I appreciate him very much for that, man. And hope he's doing well. And I'm really genuinely excited to sort of like bring it on home. We've been Scent has come up in conversation consistently throughout the years and a lot as of late. And sort of doing a throwback to some shit that probably a lot of our listeners don't even know what it is, man. I've done some podcasts and some things where I refer to Scent, and I just sort of assume everybody knows, but they don't, dude. So it's good shit. It'll be fun.
No, really looking forward to it. Story time with Joel. I know he has some new stories, and then really looking forward to any of the older stories like focused on Scent. And yeah, just looking forward to opening up the Discord for whoever wants to chime in and like reflect or get upset. I'm sure there's gonna be some people that are gonna be really upset. Just like thinking about like what could have been or whatever. But that's gonna be fun. And then we got Paradox whipping up a nice little in-world game. In collaboration with 9/0. And then somehow we're going to weave in this new game called Fallen that Ash released over in Hyper5, probably during the pre-WIP. So if you want to kick the tires on like a brand new bleeding edge Hyper5 game that won't rug you, as far as we can tell, come to the pre-WIP with us, and we're gonna play some games, try to kill one another. And apparently there's a way for us to win like hyper token for if you're a very good in-world murderer. So look forward to that.
Hell yeah, dude. Real quick, man, I'm like sort of having flashbacks talking about Scent and like these Lego blocks and everything. And I, the closest feeling, dude, I just remember it all happened like really quickly, man. And it was like, NFTs became a thing, and shout out fucking Connie Digital, man. If I can conjure that motherfucker up one of these weeks that I mentioned him, that would be great. But dude, he was releasing NFTs. He was the first person to essentially drop a meme coin at the time called like social tokens in the community. He then set up like the crypto voxels became a thing. People started putting crypto voxels galleries together. And then by the time like my birthday had rolled around, we sort of like mushed them all together, man. I had like Connie Digital's meme, everything broke. It didn't work, but like, that was like really some fucking straight Lego period of time where like, it was a small community, man, but everyone was paying attention to what everyone else was doing. And as soon as something else came out, everyone was like, yo, how do I roll my shit into that shit? And I love that fucking vibe, man. And it's been, I didn't realize how much we were lacking it or how much I missed it until, it started to come back again, man. It's good shit right now.
No, 100% agreed. Shout out the man, the myth, the legend, Connie Digital. I think about his work a lot, especially like
Me too.
The focus on being your own economy, and like that's what like every artist was, every piece was, and that's what we're seeing like play out in real time. Dude was definitely a visionary,
dude. So fucking ahead of the curve.
Yeah, and honestly, like. One of the best parts of my weeks are when Drago sends back the edited podcast, and I'm just like re-listening it for like the summary portion of it, and then we hear like the intro and outro. It's just so dank. Connie Digital produced, just so good.
Yep.
So, boom.
Shout out My World with the beat. Dude, every now and again, Hidden Forces just like slides into my DMs with like "Escape to the Metaverse." That's like all he says. It's like I know he's listening to the podcast. Fucking good shit, man.
Hidden Forces.
It's a catchy intro.
Boom. All right, dude. Well, we'll leave it here. We'll get this out, and then I'll see you Thursday at the WIP.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, yo, good shit, man.
All right, peace, dude. All right, let me save this. Please save.
please.
Okay. All right. There we go. Boom. Drago, you see that? All right, later, dude.
Yep. Oh, it's been a smart this afternoon.